The following organizations have provided funding for this Into the Outdoors television series.
Hocus Pocus! Grass into Alakazam! Milk! I did it! I really did it!
I hate to rain milk on your parade, but cows have been doing that naturally for 1,000,000 years. And they didn't need a magic wand either.
You have to admit, it's pretty magical for something to turn grass into liquid protein. Makes you wonder, how in the world do they do that?
Well, Magic Man, as you're about to find out, that glass of milk represents all kinds of science and technology. Because we're headed to a high-tech dairy farm. As we go into the outdoors.
Hey, hey, hey! Do you hear the call? Yeah! Into the outdoors! Chores are done, let's have some fun! There's so much to do and see! And the outdoors is the place to be! Into the outdoors! Come explore with me, it's a philosophy! From far we go from! And the outdoors really has it all! Into the outdoors! Earth and sky and the wet and wild! Jump in and you will see! There's no place that you'd rather be! Into the outdoors!
Whoa! Where are we?
It's not Kansas, Toto. Snap out of it. You're on a Wisconsin dairy farm. It's Pagel's Ponderosa Dairy.
Oh yeah! Milk! I remember the science and technology of milk. But where do we start?
At the beginning. Come on, let's find out how they raise these things.
Holy cow! Look at all of them! And look at this operation! It's awesome!
Yeah, to get a true appreciation of how science has changed all this, let's first get some historical perspective. 200 years ago, many families had their own dairies. Well, kinda. They had a cow. It was a pretty simple operation back then. The cow ate grass, its udder got full of milk, and the farmer and their family milked the cow by hand, twice a day. Presto, milk without magic. As more people started living in cities, dairy farmers began selling their milk in towns. It involved milking more cows by hand, pouring it into barrels, then selling it door to door from a wagon. That was a lot of hard work to make a living. Many of them also began making their own butter and cheese from their cow's milk. It grew to the point that by 1900, Wisconsin had become the leading state in the nation for producing milk, butter, and cheese.
This job is killing me. Take me back to the present. I need some science and technology to help with all of this.
I think we need to bring Josh back.
Whoa!
Welcome back, Milkman. What'd you learn?
This old-time dairy farmer's handshake. Put your hand out like this, and now milk, 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 milk.
That's really weird. Come on, let's get back to the science of milk and where it comes from.
I know where milk comes from, those other things. But the real question is, how do cows turn this stuff into milk? Do you have any guesses?
It all starts with the cow's digestive system. It's pretty cool. Unlike us humans, ruminants, such as cows, can digest cellulose plant material like hay and grass. Their biological secret is a 4-chambered stomach called a rumen that allows them to partially digest, regurgitate, chew, and redigest plant material to turn it into nutrients. They get help from natural microbe fermentation in the rumen that helps break down and turn the mixture into nutrients.
All that mixture contains water, vitamins and minerals, protein, carbohydrates, and fats. When it moves into the intestine, the nutrients get absorbed in the bloodstream and taken to the udder. That's where the cow does its magic. Well, I mean the science of making milk. The udder has these special sponge-like cells that turn the nutrients into milk, and it collects in the udder.
Keep in mind that all mammals produce milk, from cows to mice to humans to elephants to even whales. What other mammals can you think of that produce milk that we use?
I had some goat cheese once. But today, cows are the virtual queens of milk making. They can produce up to 12 gallons a day. Count them, that's a dozen.
And what can you do with all that milk from one cow? Let's join Emma and find out. Uh-oh, I'm feeling a catchy tune coming on. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. In goes the water, in goes the hay, and extra nutrition. Now what do you say? We'll say it all for its milk, then milk into the udder. We're milking gallons out, we're making things like creamy butter. Butter. Milk 3 times a day, you get 10 gallons out. For drinking milk for foods that make us want to scream and shout. Yo, follow my map. We're talking tens, the amount of the daily gallons that convert these milky products out. Yo. Milky products out. I say 4 pounds of butter, 7 gallons of ice cream, or 9 pounds of cheddar cheese. 10 pounds of mozzarella for some cooking, let me tell you, that's 35 pizzas, geez. We got yogurt for some second, pancakes paid for second, there's lots more stuff to choose. Sour cream, cottage cheese, frozen custard if you please, cheese curds you just can't lose. In goes the water, in goes the hay, milk products for you, now what do you say? In goes the water, in goes the hay, milk products for you, now what do you say? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Or you could just drink it, yeah.
Whoa, that rocked. Now that we know where the milk comes from in the cow and the stuff we use it for, let's find out where the cows come from right here on the farm.
I'm betting they all come from their mothers.
Right, smarty. But what we really need to find out is what kind of science and technology they use in taking care of them.
I bet you want to know about that too, right?
So come on, let's go hunt down some answers from an expert.
Okay, so if you'd like to find out more about all the ways we use milk, hey, just log on to intotheoutdoors.org. Coming up next, we'll roll up our sleeves and begin feeding our huge dairy herd and figuring out exactly what they like on their menu. Don't go away, there's more Into the Outdoors. And now back into the outdoors. So we know that to grow big and stay healthy, you need the right nutrition. That's why cows also need what's in this special blend of feed to stay healthy and produce lots of quality milk. Hey, what are you doing?
Well, I was just hoping for some chocolate milk.
First of all, let's get one thing straight. All cows, even brown ones, produce white milk. The chocolate flavoring is added in later. And you need a serious lesson in cow nutrition. Come on, let's get you on the tractor so you can start making some hay around here. Go on, get to work.
I tried.
So we know that for cows to stay healthy and produce lots of milk, they need to eat the right food. So how has that changed from 100 years ago when they mostly ate grasses? We need some expert advice on this. Dr. Nutrition, come on. Hey.
Hi, Carolyn.
I'm not sure I would eat this. It doesn't look very nutritious for me.
Well, cows and humans have different nutrition requirements, but for cows, this is the ticket.
Dr. Falded explained that he balances the cow's diet with their nutrition needs, whether they're producing milk or growing a baby calf inside. He blends in about 16% protein, 23% starch, 6% sugar, about 40% carbohydrates, with plenty of fiber for digestion. The blend also contains vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, D, calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium. That's some healthy-sounding diet.
We know how well we're doing nutritionally by how well the cow produces. Is she healthy? Does she look good? How much milk is she producing? And according to how much milk she produces is how we balance the ration. And so we'll put in a little more energy, which would mean more like starch and sugars to her diet. But we can't put too much in, otherwise she doesn't feel good, and then she starts producing less milk. So the better we balance the diet, the higher the components or that fat and protein is in the milk.
If you fed cows a chocolate bar, they wouldn't really make chocolate milk, would they?
Where'd you get that idea?
From a bird brain friend of mine.
So we feed them once a day, but then we push the feed up to them 12 times a day. And from research, we know that cows come up to eat about 12 times throughout her 24-hour day period. and so she takes a lot of time to eat. She eats like 140 pounds.
All this talk about nutrition is making me hungry. I gotta go find Josh. Thanks, bye.
See you later, Caroline.
Hey, I found out where all the cow feed comes from and why it's so nutritious for them. What about you, besides goofing off?
Oh, you gotta see this. I found out where they raise the baby cows. I mean, calves. Plus, they let the kids help raise them too. So come on, let's go check it out. We met Sean and the kids who help raise the calves on the Pagel farm. It's a combination of fun and work.
You hold it, you kind of want to tip the back end so you get more water out.
So most people have dogs and cats, but you have like 100 cows as pets.
Yeah, they're fun to have around. When I got my first calf, I named him Roscoe, and then he's been my favorite calf ever since.
Sean explained that cows are pregnant for the same time as humans, 9 months. But baby cows, or calves, can weigh 70 pounds when born. Unlike humans, cows are born with their eyes open, and they dry them off with towels and put them under heat lamps to keep them warm. They're pretty frisky and can stand in about an hour. At this dairy farm, they take the calf away from its mother for its safety, then feed it with pasteurized milk from a bottle for their first 40 days. But they also get them eating a grain blend when they're 2 days old. Like baby humans, sometimes calves can get belly aches, and the dairy farmers give them medicine to help. To keep calves warm and dry, they keep them inside, give them fluffy straw bedding, plus they dress them in a calf jacket. Each calf has its own computer ID tag in its ear so they can track its health records at any time. Now there's some technology.
Can you name 6 products made from milk? It's a big list to choose from. See how many you got right by visiting intotheoutdoors.org.
Now I'll bet you a milkshake that you'll stay tuned, because after the break, we're actually going to learn how to milk some cows. It's going to be utterly awesome.
Don't go away. There's more Into the Outdoors.
And now back into the outdoors.
Welcome back to the dairy farm, where we're milking all kinds of cool information about what goes on here.
And now, the part you've all been waiting for, we're actually going to find out how to milk some cows. Let's check in with Emma, who's in the Master Cow Control Operations Room. Emma, are you there?
Control room here.
Yep, I can see you now.
Looks like you're all suited up and ready to start. Here, let me switch cameras as you move through the milking process. Mr. Pagel is waiting for you at Station 1. And so are all those cows.
Whoa, these udders look pretty full. How am I supposed to do this?
Well, what you do here, this guy is checking each cow for milk quality, so he strips a little bit of milk out and then he sanitizes each teat before they dry the cow off and put the milker on. So let's walk around and I'll show you just how we do this.
You guys are doing utterly awesome. Switching cameras at Station 2. Go ahead.
So as the cows come around, the sanitizer does its job, and then we come over to this guy, and he wipes each cow off to make sure that they're sparkling clean. So when they put the unit on to harvest the milk from the cow, everything is really, really clean to make high quality milk. See how full those udders are?
Yeah, they're pretty full.
Each one of those cows are gonna give 10 gallons of milk a day. It takes about 8 minutes for the cows to go around on the wheel, and only about 5 minutes to harvest all the milk out of the cow. So this guy's responsibility is to put the unit on, and when he does that, you can see the milk start to flow.
Cow jumper cables.
And the milk comes out, and then the computer on the milking parlor measures the amount of milk that comes out.
So, how does this technology differ from 100 years ago, and how much milk can they produce now?
Well, 100 years ago, what they used to do is milk all the cows by hand. And it used to take 10 to 15 minutes to milk one cow, and they only used to give a couple quarts of milk. Now, we can milk a cow in 4 minutes, and we can harvest as much as 10 gallons of milk per cow per day. And it all works with the vacuum that goes through the unit, and it pulls on the cow's teeth, harvesting the milk. It goes through the hose, and then it goes onto the cooling system where we cool it down before it goes into the tank.
Tanks? What? Switching cameras now. Where is that place? Here, wait, I think I got it. Okay, proceed with cooling operations while I, chill.
So how would the farm be different without the technology we had like there was 100 years ago?
Well, the way we do it now is the milk comes out of the cow, it goes through the other cow, and then it goes through the pipeline. As it comes through the pipeline, it goes through this filtering system to ensure high quality, then it goes through this chiller, and it takes it down to 36 degrees, and then it goes through the pipeline, it goes right into the truck. And we can fill a truck here in about 4 hours.
All right, you guys, time to head back to the milking parlor. My screens are telling me that you're not done there yet. And tell Josh to stop horsing around.
Hello? Is anyone there? Take a little sip.
This milking parlor identifies each cow. There's a computer chip in the cow's ear, so it knows who the cow is, it knows how much milk she gives, it takes care of her, it takes her temperature, it knows how that cow is doing and how much milk that she gives. It's truly amazing. So this guy's responsibility is he checks the cow to make sure that her udder is empty, and then he sanitizes the cow one more time before she goes out. When she leaves the milking parlor, then she can go back to her pen and she can eat or drink water or go take a nap, whatever she wants to do.
So if these cows were able to talk at this point in the deal, what do you think they would say?
They would say, it feels so good, my udder's empty, I don't have to carry this milk around, I'm gonna go take a nap, get something to eat, I'm a little thirsty, I can't wait to go out.
I think they deserve a big break. Get along, little doggies.
Oh, Josh, unlike 100 years ago, when farmers could only milk a handful of cows, Pagel's Dairy, with its computer technology, milks 3,500 cows 3 times a day. That's over 10,000 cows around that turntable every 24 hours. With that thing, he can milk 500 cows an hour, getting 10 gallons per cow, which adds up to 6 semi-tankers a day, with much of the milk going right to cheese plants within 24 hours to make Wisconsin cheese.
This was great! Now I know all about milking. Back to you, Emma.
Great job, you guys. You definitely milked that one for all the latest dairy science and technology. Now you'd better get ready to investigate what's next. Environmental cows.
To see how science has changed the dairy business, log on to intotheoutdoors.org. Stay with us, because we're breaking new ground for turning cow manure into electricity. No bull!
Don't go away. There's more Into the Outdoors.
And now back into the outdoors.
Have you been keeping track of all the jobs in the dairy industry? Well then, it's time for our Career Corner. See if all these jobs match up with your list.
To grow the crops that feed a dairy herd, you need agricultural scientists to help grow healthy crops and reduce damage from insects and disease. To plant, manage, and harvest those crops, you need hay, corn, and soybean farmers. Of course, they in turn need farm equipment, made by equipment manufacturers. Then there are all the people who raise and take care of the animals. It starts with the people who own and manage the dairy farm, like Mr. Pagel, and they get professional help from veterinarians, cow nutrition specialists, and workers to feed and care for the cows. Milking also employs technicians who install and maintain the sophisticated milking equipment. Then there are also milkers who do the different steps in the milking process. Safety inspectors check the milk, and the milk truck drivers transport it to processing centers. There, scientists and technicians help pasteurize the milk, and other workers put it in containers to be sold at stores. And most of Wisconsin's 12,000 dairy farms are family-owned, like Pagel's. The state's dairy industry employs about 170,000 people.
Thanks, Emma, but I think you forgot a few jobs here. I mean, just look at this thing. It's definitely technology at work. It's an anaerobic digester system, and it powers the whole town and generates electricity and all kinds of other valuable stuff from cow manure. Come on. So this is the digester system. Cool.
Yeah, you must be the new farmhand. This is where all the action takes place. The manure gets pumped into the digester right there, and we heat it up to 100 degrees, and that's when the natural bacteria inside the cow manure takes over and produces the biogas.
Adam explained that when the manure is fully treated with the bacteria and heat, gas goes through the big pipe and gets cleaned inside those concrete scrubbers with other bacteria before going to fuel the giant engine that powers the turbine. The solids get dried and recycled to be used for cow bedding back in the barns. And the liquid gets recycled and eventually spread as fertilizer back on the farm field. Man, everything gets recycled using this technology. But the biogas is the powerhouse here. I had one question though.
Wait, what kind of gas? Do you mean gasoline?
No, it's biogas. It's composed of methane and CO2.
Oh, that's why you call it biogas, because biologically the bacteria is making the gas. I get it.
Exactly, Josh. Just to give you an idea of the size of the digester, there's 21 days of cow manure from all the cows on the farm inside that digester. That's about 2.6 million gallons inside that digester of manure.
So the tiny bacteria generate the methane from the heated manure. And that's the source of energy which powers the huge engine which turns the turbine that produces electricity. The engine powered from the biogas was ginormous. It had 20 cylinders and 2,200 horsepower.
The engine produces heat and electricity, so the digester is self-sufficient. It doesn't have to bring any outside heat in, and it produces enough electricity to provide electricity for 900 homes.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is.
You mean that the whole town of Kewanee gets all its electricity from cow manure?
All of Kewanee could be powered from cow manure. On average, it takes 4 cows to produce 1 kilowatt hour of electricity.
So let me get this straight. With today's technology, you take all the waste out of the cow and you make it into a bunch of valuable stuff like electricity and gas?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We produce electricity and gas, and we produce the biosolids for the cows to bed on, and the manure that is left over is the fertilizer for their crops when they're growing.
So how does it make you feel every day when you're working on something that really does help the environment?
It makes me feel great. It definitely makes my job a lot more enjoyable knowing that I'm doing something that impacts the entire world.
When I grow up, do you think maybe I could get a job like this?
Absolutely, Josh. We'd love to have somebody like you.
Don't worry, I'll check in later. Hey, Caroline! You won't believe what I did with cow manure.
Sounds really interesting, Josh. Does it use as much science and technology as the other things they do here in modern dairy farming?
Oh yeah, of course. It's more like dairy farming from the future. It's like magic.
All magic aside, we've helped you learn a lot while discovering what it's like working with the future of dairy here at Pago Ponderosa Dairy.
Plus, meeting all the cool people who work here and the science they use. Who knows? Maybe someday you could be a part of that.
See you next time
For another adventure.
Into the Outdoors.
The following organizations have provided funding for this Into the Outdoors television series.